My name's Ocean Clark, and I'm a career portrait artist. Basically, I'm a preschooler. I get to play with paint all day. I've got a couple of degrees, a bachelor's degree in fine arts, a bachelor's degree in photography. I've been painting my whole life. My mom says I started with mud when I was a kid, but I've been doing it as a full-time career for about 12, 13 years now. I had no clue art was even a possibility. I went to med school before I decided to be an art. And actually, it never even crossed my mind. I knew it was my passion, but I didn't think you could really make money with it. And in my fourth year, like seventh, eighth semester of med school, pre-med still, but I took 2 art classes, and my first project was a wood block cut where you actually carve into the wood and then use the wood as a stamp to print your image. And I submitted it just based on a suggestion from one of my fellow students in the class, and he was a career artist. He had already gotten a job offer for Disney, which to me at the time was like the ultimate job, doing drawings for Disney. But he said that my work was good and I should submit to this national competition, and I sent it in. It was only $5, and I won a one-man show at the Salvador Dali Museum in Florida. And I only had 4 pieces at the time, so I didn't do a show, but I put my 4 pieces in the gallery, and they did a joint show with a bunch of other people because I didn't have enough work to do it. But yeah, that was like kind of a wake-up call. I was like, wow, I could paint for a living and play with art instead of dealing with sick and dying people. I'd be dealing with people that are happy and at the top of their game, looking for something to decorate their house with. Never looked back since. Told my parents I was switching to art, and they were ecstatic. They were like, what on earth were you thinking, wanting to be a doctor? We didn't want to say anything, but that would have been a horrible life. Yeah, I've been an artist ever since. I spent a couple of years just diving head on into my craft, trying to figure it out just in the college process. And when I got out of college, I had no clue what I was going to do, so I put every single painting and every single sculpture I had up on eBay and sold them all for $1 starting bid, just to get rid of them so I could clear my mind and start from scratch and try to figure out what my style was, because that was all, the projects you do for classes. And I sold every one of them. The most any of them brought was $1,500, and I think I brought about $7,200 for the week's listings, which was 4 years worth of my work. But I took them to my advisor in college, took my stats from my sales, and I was expecting him to chew me out. He closed his office door when I showed him what I had done, and came and sat down at his desk and just started crying. And I had no clue what he was crying about. I thought he was angry at me for selling all of my work for so little money. And he confessed that he had never sold a single piece. He was my idol. He was the dean of my university, and his paintings were amazing, and he had never sold a single painting. He told me he had I think 7 storage units filled with art, because in art school they teach you, oh, you got to have your bottom dollar at $10,000, and everybody teaches you a different thing, but you're basically learning from a bunch of failures that couldn't make a living with art. And so they got a job teaching. Not all of them. There are some that are incredible artists, and that's why they wanted to teach, but a lot of them are just people that really had no clue how to sell their art. So they got a job teaching because they wanted to pay the bills and do art, but they couldn't figure out how to pay the bills with the art. So he told me that now he had taught me how to create art. He wanted me to teach him how to market art, because he thought I was doing something really amazing, even though in total 4 years sales, 4 years worth of work, my sales were $7,200, and his cheapest painting was 10 grand, but he'd never sold one. So I actually started teaching art, teaching marketing for the school, and most of my students were the professors. And from there I moved to New Orleans because I just really wanted to try New Orleans. It seemed like a really cool place. And I got a license to street band and spent about 6 years as a street artist in New Orleans. That was by far the most educational experience I could ever have gotten for art, because I was sitting out there with a beer in my hand, splattering paint on canvas like crazy, and 1,000, 2,000 people would walk by and give me a critique, and sometimes the absolute most honest critique in the world, because they didn't care what I thought about what they said. And a little girl walk up and say, this shit sucks, about my work. And I mean, it was just like, wow, okay, she thinks my work sucks. You don't hear that in a gallery. People walk in, oh, it's so pretty. You don't learn anything from that. You you don't have any clue what you're doing right or wrong. But on the street where there's a bunch of drunks walking by looking at your work, you hear the absolute honest truth. And I probably painted close to 8,000 original paintings sitting on the street, just splattering paint and selling them as fast as I could for as cheap as $10. I gave some of them away if somebody really liked them. And towards the end of that, I was selling them for $500, $1,000 each and making an average of around $1,000, $1,500 a day. And my best day was over $12,000 for paintings that I painted right there on the street, just splattering paint right on the street. So I mean, it was absolutely the most incredible educational experience for art. With art, more than any other job, you are your own boss, because unless you're getting a job teaching in college, you're creating a product that is from your heart and soul, and trying to market it to friends, family, and complete strangers. So truly what it comes down to be a successful artist, to make a living with art, is productivity. You have to finish art. If you sit around, which the whole term starving artist, in my opinion, is for lazy artists, people that finish one painting or sculpture or whatever it is they do a week or a month. If you do one piece a week even, which most people would think is pretty good, you've got in New York, your bills are $4 or $5 grand a month just to be able to pay the rent and eat and survive. So I mean, if you're doing one piece a week, you have to sell that for $1,000, and if you don't sell one of your one pieces a week, you don't pay your rent and you lose your house. So one piece a month, I mean, you'd have to guaranteed sell that every single month for $4 grand in New York just to get by. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And the only way you can be a successful artist in any area, not just a metropolis area, is producing a lot of artwork. You have to wake up in the morning, do whatever it is you got to do, get your coffee, that's what works for me, and jump right into it. You have to, in my opinion, to make a good living at art, you have to finish something almost every single day. Because if you finished a painting every day, it doesn't have to be a huge painting, it could be something small, but finish something that you can sell, that you're ready to put out there on somebody's wall. Then I mean, seriously, one piece a day, it's 30 pieces a month. You could sell them for $120 each and you'd get your bills paid. You sell them for a couple hundred each and you got extra money to live off of and feel like you're doing okay. And a couple $100 for an original painting, that's easy. That's really easy to do. So you finish, I mean, if you gotta work 8, 10, 12 hours at it every day to finish something every day, then you'll get there. You might have probably 50% of what you do is going to look horrible, nobody's going to like it, and it's not going to sell, and you're going to sand over it and paint another layer on it and call it a new original the next day, but you have to be producing like that. I would bet my first 2,000 portraits looked really mediocre, and most of my work is custom work. People say they want a portrait of Marilyn Monroe from this photo or whatever, or mostly portraits of their kids and pets and favorite musicians, whatever. But my first probably 2,000 of them, people are like, ooh, that doesn't look like my grandmother. Do I really have to pay you for it if I don't like it? I mean, but I just dove right in and I kept going, and I sometimes would paint the same painting 5, 10 times before they liked it and paid me for it. And I mean, that's what it comes down to, hard work. If you want to make a living in any career, you have to work 8 hours a day, and that's to get by. So if you're self-employed, which art generally is self-employed, then you have to put in that same 8 hours a day. You can't cut yourself short and be lazy and sit around and tinker on a painting for 10 minutes and then go do something else for the rest of the day. You've got to work at it for 8 hours just to get by. You want to be successful, you want to have money in the bank and nice cars and everything like that, you're looking at 12, 14 hours a day. It's just the way that it is. And that's what most artists don't understand. They complain about how hard it is. It's not hard to make a living in art. It's really easy. You just have to produce. You have to get started on something every day. Most artists, they think too much about it. And that's the key, I think. Matisse said, you begin painting well when you separate your hand from your head, which to me means when you've done it so much that you don't think at all. You just move colors around and splatter paint. And that's kind of what I try to live by, just splatter and paint every day and finishing something as often as I can. So just live your life, just sing your song, right now, people move along, so move along.